So I reiterate here, the bill is dead.
The story of this great city is about the years before this night. We are free!
Hey everybody, this is Ho Ho Hong Kong. We're back. It is people. This is of course me, your host Vivek Mawabani, along with the other guy who is
Mohammed Nagdi! Hey! We are back. We are here. It's 2023. We're still alive.
Yeah, shockingly.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. I mean, a lot of people at this point, they would see me on the streets going like, it can't be him. He's dead to me.
People did think we something happened to us.
Yeah. People were curious though, like, did they morph into one? Like, did they divide? Or what happened over here?
We don't actually go to a lot of places together. So as far as a lot of people concerned,
yeah. We cannot show up in the same place
exactly.
at the same time. Yeah.
Right.
So they're probably thinking like, this guy's really good by imitating his own voice and being two people on the show.
Yeah.
And somehow overlapping their voices as well.
Yeah, I mean, that means you also have a lot of time to edit this. Like,
correct, yeah.
To play with that.
Yeah, and anybody who knows me is, first of all, I don't have enough time for anything. And secondly, we don't really edit this show much.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we try to give it to you, as we like to say, raw and real.
Yeah.
Other people call it lazy.
Yeah.
But we consider it as being the truth. That's what we're all about, the truth.
Exactly.
But anyway, so we're back.
We're back.
Yes.
We're back. We miss you
Wow,
guys.
yeah.
Sorry for the long wait.
Yeah.
And the long break, rather. It's very fun to be back. We are recording on the 1st of January. You're listening to this from the 2nd of January onward. Crazy. It's been a few months since we last talked to our audience.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, during these few months, we got a lot of messages saying, hey, what happened to the podcast?
Yeah.
What happened to the podcast? And I was like, wow, I can't believe people actually like, obviously, like, I've got messages in like November. I'm like, the podcast has been down for a while, dude.
Yeah.
Like, are you just catching up now?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, hey, this is actually a good sign that people have a long list of stuff, or they just haven't gotten to it, and they're like, oh, I want to listen to it. Oh, they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
And thanks to everyone who reached out and did check in on us and ask about the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a few months. Do you want to do kind of a backtrack just to catch up on?
Let people know
where we're up to, what was going on in Hong Kong as well, and where do you want to start?
So I think let's give it like around 6 months.
Okay.
Like, let's say July 2022. The middle of the year. It's
I can't believe saying 2022 is last year.
Yeah, right.
That's so weird.
2022 felt extra long compared to every year. I don't know why.
Yeah.
2019 just zoomed by because of the protests and everything. 2020 kind of was like, oh, this is just wait and see.
Yeah.
2021, everyone was like, I don't even know what's going on. 2022 was like, there was hope. There was no hope. This changed. The chief executive changed. You're like, whoa, hold on. This is very confusing right now.
In Hong Kong particularly, it felt like... And only also because we started seeing everyone we know around outside of Hong Kong, like started traveling.
That's why.
And like seeing like them having a normal life, and we're like still stuck.
Yeah, you see, everything felt extra long. It's like, you're literally watching guys play outside, and you're still in your class. You're like, oh, this class is taking extra long, dude.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been tough. But all right, let's do a recap. So let's start from July, okay? So first of all, if anyone is not in Hong Kong or doesn't live here, or never been here, come to Hong Kong in July. And then I want you to go back home, and then you will never complain about the heat wherever you live, right?
Coming from a very hot country and having been to like countries like, Dubai and Saudi Arabia and stuff like where the heat is brutal.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, it still feels...
it's just painful.
Gross.
Yeah, it's gross. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not hot, brutal. It's just gross. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling ugh. Yeah. So you have that. All right.
The only worst place is Singapore, but that's also worse on every other aspect.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly a high.
Mean, it's one of those things that, like how your hand hurts.
Yeah.
And if you don't want your hand to hurt anymore, someone stomps on your foot. Right?
Yeah.
So you don't notice your hand hurting anymore.
That's right.
Singapore is basically someone stomping your hands and feet and face at the same time. So you're like everything hurts.
Yeah.
Your hand doesn't hurt, everything hurts. You're like, well, I mean, your hand's not hurting, but everything includes that. Like, you said you don't want your hand to hurt.
We fixed the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. So now everything is equal.
Yeah.
So it's just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have that. But I remember in July because I went to the UK. Right, I went to the UK to travel and basically go see my sister and stuff like that.
So this was your first time traveling since COVID?
Yeah, since like 2019, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, middle of 2019, I went to Melbourne for the festival, but then I think that was it. And
Damn.
it was so weird because like you're so used to Hong Kong environment.
Yeah.
That just going anywhere else and seeing, first of all, number one, space, number two, sky,
Yeah.
and number three, faces as well. I was like, whoa, this is weird.
Faces is just ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous,
I mean,
yeah.
also a lot of people, I believe, a lot of people should wear a mask even if they're not sick.
Yeah, it's
Just this is a PSA.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
A lot of people are not qualified to reveal everything.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
We're
us
not
included.
yeah.
Us included. I'll be fair. Yeah, you know, we can't be selfish. Like I just see you, but you can't see me. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is a weird thing. I remember getting to UK. We still all had a mask on. Got off the plane. We're in getting the luggage. Everyone's mask is pretty much off, and we're like, this is weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to get COVID all of a sudden. Now, half our heads are thinking, I don't want to get COVID because we're so conditioned with Hong Kong rules and everything. The other half is just like, it would suck if we left Hong Kong and got COVID. Like, this is stupid.
Right.
What was the point of this trip then? You know?
And when you guys left, so it was you, your mom, and your
Girlfriend, yeah.
Your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And when you guys left, what was the quarantine situation in Hong Kong?
I believe they had moved it down to 7 days.
Yeah.
Because
that was already like, woo.
yeah, exactly.
it
We're
was a
like,
big
yeah,
deal.
1 week I can live with
Yeah.
that. Like, because there's no way.
7 days in a hotel.
Yeah, hotel 7 days. And
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure there's no way I would have accepted the idea of 14 days. I'd be like, I am in trouble,
with
man.
your grandma, with your mom.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. With my grandma, damn, dude. 14 hours would kill me. Forget 14 days, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the idea. Forget
I
even
think
being
the
with them.
grandma came from girlfriend and mom. It
Yeah,
became
exactly.
Grandma.
You got the age in
Yeah.
the middle. Yeah, you average it, but you didn't average them. You added them.
I averaged the words.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
grandma
Yeah, the
and
girlfriend. Yeah, exactly. That is so disgusting. Dude. The fact that that's a Freudian wrong slip,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. It is.
All right, so 7 days was the original thing, and I was
Right.
like, I can live with that. We got everything sorted out, and it was gonna cost us. I'm like, all right, I can live with all that stuff. While we're in UK, they started having little, the sources tell us that we get 3 + 4, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. And then the moment they did that, now this is very unfair. I pay for the flights. Okay, my girlfriend paid for the quarantine. She gets to get the refund.
Oh,
I
what?
don't. Yeah.
That
I was
is
like, hey, that's
no.
not right.
You're
Yeah.
owed something.
I know. I was
no,
like, excuse me.
What?
Like, it doesn't work, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
when the flights and, they ran out of hot water,
Yeah.
nobody's paying me back and stuff, right? So, yeah, I remember doing that. All right, so let me tell you this. First of all, to everybody who's listening, if you have traveled out of Hong Kong, you probably know the experience of, like, the airport now in
Yeah.
Hong Kong, which is a weird, bizarre thing. It's better now, I'm sure. But back then, it was just like, everywhere you go, everyone's in a hazmat suit going, like, we don't trust you.
Yeah.
Why are you here? That's their way of welcoming you, right? So I remember that. However, back then you also had to do the PCR test overseas before flying. And you had to do
Yeah.
the 48 hours before your last departure.
So that means if you have
If you have a weird departure where you had, like, let's say, layover for 10 hours,
Yeah.
you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Now, back then, there was no direct flights from UK to Hong Kong. So now I had to get off in Qatar because I was doing Qatar Airways, right?
Yeah.
Now, I had to time it just right when we go to London because I was in Cambridge with my sister. We had to go to London, go get that damn test, and make sure within 48 hours, I have to go to London, come back, pick up my luggage, or have a nice sleep, whatever, and go back to London again for the flight.
God.
It was just stupid, right?
Yeah.
And secondly, they don't have that many PCR test venues because, like, nobody else is
No
doing
one's
this.
doing
It's
it
just us.
anymore, yeah.
Like, they literally opened it, like, why are you here? I'm like, we need it.
is
Like,
it just open right next to the Chinese embassy? That's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the one place that
They-
actually still gives a
exactly. They
shit.
should just do that.
Yeah.
Just directly just send them to the embassy. Like, hey, they're good. These guys are good. Just keep their names down and we're good, right?
Yeah.
So all that stuff. Now, I want to remind everybody, if you're ever in England and if you ever, for some reason, in the next 10 years, 20 years, you need to do this PCR test again, never use a company called Randox.
Okay.
Randox, the problem with them is that they like to, let's just say, environmentally friendly your face.
Okay.
Why do I say that? Because they use the same stick.
No.
Yeah, for your
What?
nose and your mouth, right? So everybody, if you ever use these companies, don't get Randox.
Can you use your own stick and then give it to them?
I would have preferred
Yeah,
that. I would
yeah.
have trusted my own little cotton bud.
Yeah.
But this
exactly.
person was like, oh, but I have a hazmat suit. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever, man. All right, so that was July.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was over there, and I remember I came back in August.
Think
Okay.
of just like for a second how recent that was, July.
Right.
That you had to go through all of this. Even the fact that you had to go to pay a bunch of money
Yeah.
to do a PCR test.
Pointless.
That now you don't have to do at all. The number two, you can do in Hong Kong for free.
Yeah.
But then just because it's
it's over there.
It's over there.
But then Hong Kong wants it over here.
Yeah.
But over there, it's like, no, we don't give it to you for free. But Hong Kong's like, well, I'll give it to you for free, but you have to come back. But you can't come back because, you know, it's
But
just like, you know what I mean? It's one of those
Yeah.
catch-22 kind of deals,
Yeah.
you know, like, if you step in the house, I'll kill you. But you have
Yeah.
to come into the house because I'll kill you. It's like,
Yeah.
what? I'm confused right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that happened, okay. Now, July, if you were in Hong Kong.
I was,
And
yes.
everybody was messaging me how they were melting this year.
Yes.
Right? And that was helping.
Yeah, I was hiding in my house for all summer.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I had super expensive electricity bills.
Oh, man, yeah.
But there's no
Yeah,
way
you couldn't
around
help
it.
it, yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, like, you know,
yeah,
oh,
it
you're-
was through the roof. I was not happy.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the ironic thing where they're like, oh, but you know, doing all this stuff is bad for nature. I'm like, well, nature is doing this to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
Nature
what I'm
is
doing.
bad for
yeah,
nature.
exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
your fault. You know, turn down the humidity, nature. What's going
Yeah.
on here? All right, so that was your July. You basically chilled in Hong Kong, right?
I chilled in Hong Kong.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
There was nothing big happening because I remember back then there weren't really many shows or anything.
No, there were not many shows.
Yeah,
at
pretty
all.
much
The
everything
summer,
was
yeah.
shut down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is kind of weird because a lot of Hong Kong people who stayed in Hong Kong,
yeah.
but it didn't seem like people wanted to do much, to be honest. The restrictions also on the streets because it's you kind of measure it by like how like an average weekend where
Yeah.
do people go and stuff.
True. Yeah.
And the average weekend back then was a lot of cat and mouse chase with the cops.
yeah. You have your mask off.
You
Like,
have
oh my
the mask
god.
off.
Yeah.
There was all these raids where they just like get people standing outside of the bar. I think back then it was like 4 people group gathering.
Yeah, it was one of those because like Johnny had just gotten into power.
Yeah.
So obviously, like you know, who wasn't getting into? I'm gonna change everything. It's like, all right, we're gonna get to this. So they all still had the old protocol.
Yeah.
Of probably like kick people's ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just get them in trouble, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So I was
and they
like,
would come with like their like weird like tape thing.
I'll just wrap the whole place around.
Yeah, they wrapped the whole place
Yeah.
around. Remember the game in the playground when you're a kid, the 2 people holding a tape.
Oh yeah.
And then they run around the playground, and
Yeah, just
anyone
wrap.
above a certain height,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just get trampled.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what the cops were doing
They're
here.
probably, yeah, I bet you anything was one of those truth or dare kind of things.
Exactly.
They're like, I dare. You
Yeah.
know, and you go out and do that.
Yeah.
It's one of those team kind of building kind of
Yeah,
deals.
and there's a lot of people who got fined.
Yeah.
Which also now in hindsight, like people got fined for stuff that is now legal,
And they're getting processed now,
and they're getting
right?
processed now.
That's so weird, dude.
It's so weird.
yeah.
It really doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, oh wow, it's kind of like buying a present for your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Breaking up with her and using the same present
Yeah.
for your next girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it serves the same purpose, you
Yeah.
know. It's my affection.
It's actually almost like that, except that the same girlfriend, like the same present, you're giving to the new girlfriend with the old girlfriend's name.
yeah.
Like with the card to
Yeah,
the old
yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah.
You're like, it just arrived now. This is just like,
Yeah. And the twist is,
yeah.
the new girlfriend's got the same name. Oh, you're like, hey, this just worked, you know, this is perfect. Yeah. Okay, so yes, it's
Yeah.
the same kind of weird thing where like it's not supposed to apply for people now.
Yeah.
But it can still apply to you back
Yeah.
then, but you're here now.
Yeah.
Wow, it's one of those
You
like
need
really.
like the multiverse. What's his name? Doctor Strange.
Yeah. One of those like, you
Yeah.
know, and like he has a little portal where his hand comes out. It's like, this is the guy. It's like,
It really
what?
is like you're being processed for something that is now legal, and also they're like, but you're like, oh yeah, I can go outside now and be with a group of people. That
Yeah.
But back then you couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I can be now.
Yeah.
And clearly it's not dangerous now, and it
Yeah.
wasn't exactly dangerous then.
You know what the weird thing is? That I probably at the court when they're doing the processing all that stuff, they probably have groups of 8.
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
the jury is like, but the jury
Yeah.
over there is 8. They're like, well, they can do it now. It's like,
Yeah.
but I used what?
Yeah, and the same thing for the groups of the cops themselves, because when they were coming chasing people around on the street, they were in groups more than
Yeah, right?
8.
I
It's
know.
actually like we joke, but I genuinely don't know what the law. I mean, is there something in the law that says the law enforcement that does not apply to them? Does it say, for example, it does not apply to you if you're on job at all?
Huh.
Because
very-
what is the law?
That's a very good
Yeah,
question. Mo.
for example, if you're like a construction worker,
Yeah.
is that okay? Because you have to work on the same site, close to each other.
Yeah,
Or-
because like, okay, so let's say there's a big piece of glass you have to raise up.
Yeah.
And requires the power of five people.
Yes.
But the law says only 4.
Yeah.
All right. And now you guys are struggling. And then, or what about this? You're pushing the glass, and just as you're pushing, it falls on one guy.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the weird thing is that it's kind of like, do we report this because we were 5 people?
Yeah.
Because if we report, we're gonna get criminalized for something else.
Yes.
But if we don't report it, we'll be like criminalized for manslaughter. Like, so which one do I want to go for jail for?
Yeah.
It's one of those gray areas where like, well, I mean, we were 4 people, yes, but we had a plastic board between us.
Right.
So now we're no longer groups.
Man, I love those plastic boards. Like how ridiculous they were.
I mean, those were the ultimate symbol. I really feel they should install those on the MTR. Like where they have the pole.
Yeah.
Where we use that to symbolize our line between us.
I can be quite an introvert. Like I can really dislike strangers.
Yeah.
When I'm just in my own head. So those shields I liked because I'm like, oh yeah, I can see you, but you're not allowed to talk to me.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Exactly. So I'm not being rude.
Yeah, exactly.
But it'd be silly to talk through the board.
Yeah.
You know what? The funny thing is, in Hong Kong, the McDonald's, they had these seats that literally face the wall, the single seats.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah.
And then they had like
they look quite fun.
Yeah, right.
It's
And
like
honestly,
you're just on your phone.
I'll be honest with you. I tried it once and I was like, this is actually pretty damn good.
It's pretty nice.
It's pretty damn good. Like, I don't know why people, oh my God, look, so lonely. So I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, no, this is damn good
It's
privacy.
good.
I don't know
Yeah.
why. And the funny thing is, you go to these high tech, like workspaces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have these booths so people have private phone conversations and this one chair inside. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, how is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, look at
Yeah.
you guys spinning this around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have that. All right. So we've talked about the fact that we clearly don't have enough friends and we appreciate that reality.
Yeah.
Right? So that was July. So July, nothing too crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
I came back in August and I was so lucky, man. I think they made the announcement of the 3+4, 3 days hotel, 4 days home
How
quarantine.
fun was the whole 3+4 situation? Is it 4+3, 3+4?
I know, right?
0 plus.
Yeah, it's 0 plus
7?
7. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had all that stuff. It's always the plus sign,
Yeah.
right? And like I remember that because I think that one of my little silly commenting jokes I said was like, it's such a typical like tiger mom that even like this they have to make you do your own math.
Right.
I mean, like, just say 7. Like,
Yeah.
oh, no, you do the work. I'll
Yeah.
give you the numbers, right? So they made the announcement. Now, we actually just fell in, I think, like day 2 of that one. So we got the refund and everything for the hotel quarantine.
Yeah.
And honestly, 3 days, not too bad.
Yeah.
Because, like, by the time you
It's a
start...
staycation, basically.
Yeah, it's a staycation. Yeah. By the time you're like, dude, I need to get out. They're like, oh, you can get out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
It was also like 2 nights, right?
Yeah, pretty much 2
so
nights.
like the night you arrive, if you arrive late, that's night 0.
Yeah, if you miss the midnight thing,
Yeah.
you're screwed.
Yeah, because then that's a whole extra day.
Yeah. It's weird.
But if you come right before midnight, that's day 0.
Yeah.
And then you can spend day 1, day 2, and then you're out.
Yeah, day 3.
Day 3 in the morning.
Now, the funny thing is, like, for a lot of these hotel quarantine things, and I remember I talking to other people, same deal is like, when you leave, you just leave.
Yeah.
Right? But the quarter, they have nobody there. And the lifts are out of order.
Right.
And there's a sign that says, cannot use lift. And you're like, this is so weird. And nobody tells you. They're like, oh, you can leave now. So I remember, like, basically, like, standing there, looking at the lift button, going, like, do we peel this sheet off and just press the button?
Yeah.
And then we finally go back. We can't go back to our room because the room's locked.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And
So
you
we're
don't
like-
have the
key card doesn't work anymore. It's a one-time
Shit.
key card thing, right? So I'm like, oh, I think we can call the hotel. We call the hotel like as it were like outside guests.
Oh,
and
wait.
ask-
So just because I've not done quarantine, so there's some parts I don't understand. They give you a key card for one time to make sure that
Sorry, no, you
if
don't get
ever...
a key. That's what it is. Yeah, because
Oh, they open it for you.
you're not allowed to leave. So why would you
that's
need a
so
key
funny.
card?
I didn't know that they do that in quarantine
Yeah.
hotel.
I remember
Like,
that
why
now,
do you
yeah.
Well, wait. You want it because you want to turn on the electricity
no,
inside, right?
that's like automatic on and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So the key card doesn't
So they're
work.
like, you don't need a key card, so we're not giving you
we're
one.
not giving you one, right? So the moment you leave, you're like, oh shit, I can't go back in.
Damn,
And it's
you're locked in. Oh, that's actually, as a claustrophobic, that's actually, that could fuck with me.
Yeah, the idea of
The
that.
idea that
Yeah.
this door is not just like I'm not allowed to leave. If I just open the door and step.
Yeah, you
My-
might not be able to come back in.
Yeah, that's
And then if you
that's
step
freaky.
out, it's illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's really
I'm so
weird.
glad I didn't do quarantine
Dude,
because
yeah,
that would
it-
have actually I might have lost it a little bit.
Yeah.
then.
At some point, but I need to get out. I need to get out.
Exactly,
And you do
yeah.
like, I'm shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we get out of that. I remember we were done. We had home quarantine, which was all right. I mean, I really did appreciate that I could be at home. I'm like, I can do a lot of my work because after a
Yeah.
trip, I've got to catch up on my stuff
And
anyway.
did you guys have bracelets?
No bracelets for that.
Oh.
Yeah, no bracelets for that. But basically, obviously, I think the QR code is the Amber one. So you can't technically go to restaurant stuff. And I'm like, whatever. That's no big deal.
That's another thing. Like we're in January 2023.
Yeah.
And through until less than a month ago, we had the stupid fucking leave home safe app
Yeah.
that is now a distant memory.
Yeah.
I uninstalled it the second we're told not to use it again.
I uninstalled it when they said no more vaccine packs. Like before, I was like, you know what? I just don't want to have to find a screenshot. I'm like, I just give me a few days. I don't really care. When they said no vaccine packs, bam, that's out. That's out. Yeah. And it's weird because like every time I look at my phone, I have all my stuff organized, right, in groups of 4 and stuff like that. And then so the icons, and there's one empty gap where Leave Home Safe used to be. And every day I'm like, I need to fill something with that. I need some app that I need to, but I don't have no new apps. I'm like, God damn it, everything's perfect. You screwed my whole grid system. Yeah, so I remember that when they said
stay home. Unsafe.
Yeah, stay. Do home, whatever. Yeah. So when they scrapped that, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Finally, this is like I walked into a restaurant today and I was like, I just went and sat down. Yeah. I'm like, there we go.
Yeah. Now we can go back to regular Hong Kong, which is the service people being rude to you.
Yes.
And that's the only inconvenience.
Correct.
Yeah. As opposed to the app not working or the scanny thing and then the other thing. Then the service people are rude to you. Now we're down to one regular problem.
Correct. Yeah. There were 2 things that used to piss me off with the scanning thing. Number 1 is which side is the camera.
Yeah.
Right? Every single goddamn time is like
I
front,
dropped
back.
my phone so many times.
Yeah. It's stupid, You're like, I put my phone there, but it's not getting it. I'm like, it's behind.
Sometimes it's also the one that is like standing vertical, like opposite facing you.
Yeah.
And you're like putting your phone in front of it.
Yeah, and it's too close, and you have to find the QR code distance. Yeah. You're like, what is
But then some of them you put your phone behind. That's what I dropped my phone.
That's the worst, dude.
That's the behind. Yeah. And then your hand itself is showing, and then you're trying not to touch that one phone.
Yeah. Exactly. The coordination, you're like, man, this is bad, dude. Right? And secondly, the goddamn ding dong.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, who decided that? Could we not do this where it's like, it's not a ding dong, but just more like, just a light that just like flickers and it says, oh, that's good, But I'm guessing they're like, oh, I don't have to look at it.
Yeah,
the
waiters can see, can hear.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, people, this is painful. I'm sure the waiter's like, dude, stop this.
Yeah.
This is stupid now, Yeah.
So, so it's, Amber Code is another thing that was like, a pretty interesting system because I've never experienced it when someone scans you and then you're Amber.
Yeah.
Is it Amber the whole time?
I believe it was Amber the whole time.
Okay. So when you try to scan it and you're Amber,
well, technically you're not allowed to leave the house, technically, right?
Right.
So I think back then they didn't even have the you can go to the supermarket if really necessary deal.
Right.
Yeah, but I remember it's like you can't go to restaurants and all that stuff.
Who decides how necessary it is?
I believe it's that chief health guy, the guy that basically like got
That's
completely...
not Duck Mask guy.
No, it's the other guy, the
Every
knee
time
guy.
you bring him up, to me they're the same guy.
The same guy, yeah, exactly. Just like dumb stuff coming out from them, right? Yeah. So this is the knee guy, right?
Right.
Okay, so basically back then it was kind of...
I love this story, by the way.
Arbitrary. The knee guy.
Can you give our audience a very quick version of that story?
So the knee guy is basically during the protests, what happened is that at some point, I think it was some university,
right,
and then they had the protesters surrounding different government officials. They wanted to say some stuff. And in Hong Kong, I think during that time, this was not the health chief yet.
You're right.
But I forget his name. I'm going to try to quickly see if I can Google it because I keep messing this guy's name because it's not like a typical common name. However, he was basically amongst the protesters, and at one point he just decided to fall on the floor and grab his knee and be like, it hurts. And everyone's like, what? Like everyone's confused. Like people actually turn around like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And there's video footage of this guy just stand there and out of nowhere, this is on the floor. So this is Lo Chung Mao. That's the guy's name. Yeah, Lo Chung Mao, right? So he became famous for being the knee guy, where like his knee just crumbled.
Is it actually in Cantonese? Like, is he actually the knee guy?
No. But like everybody knows him for that. Like all the years of medical and all that stuff. He's got the certificates and everything. I was like, oh, you mean the guy that fell crushing his knees?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that guy, right? So he, I think, like completely got blasted by John Lee because like everything he said on day one is like, all right, we need this. It's for the betterment of the society. By day 3, he's like, we've accepted that this is useless, right? Because like he's just getting everything is just getting owned,
right?
It's just like every suggestion he has, like, we're not doing that, dude. We're going back and we're scrapping all this up,
right?
But then in August he wasn't a big name, like nobody really noticed him. He was just doing his thing because the rules were pretty much the same rules,
Right.
Again, John Lee had just come in. He wasn't going to like shake things up way too much.
Yeah.
But then September started happening, where I think the show started happening, but it was really weird time.
Yeah, something was going on with the shows then because there was some sort of a snitch situation.
Yeah, kind of. I will tell you this though. I'm pretty sure the snitch or no snitch or whatever was an English speaker, simply because the Cantonese shows never got affected.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So either it was someone who just didn't like the English scene, or did not read Chinese characters,
right,
or was only using like comedy.hk as their source.
Yes, because
Yeah.
comedy.hk does not have the Cantonese shows usually.
Yeah, usually we don't post
Yeah.
too much, especially during that time. We just if we had shows, we just post it
And
ourselves.
there is obviously no Cantonese promoters, Cantonese stand-up comedy promoters outside of you guys. You,
yeah,
Tim
pretty
Chan,
much. Yeah.
Tonya,
Hall of Laughs,
or-
basically. Yeah.
Hall
Those
of
are the main
Laughs.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we figured we're like, okay, I guess this is alright. But then it was weird because like you would have the shows, and all of a sudden you get like I think like the FEHD guy,
Yeah,
the food and
FEHD, food,
food and environment and health department.
Yeah,
one of
or-
those guys. Like obviously
yeah.
covers everything.
Right,
You
right.
have the food that you eat, the
Yeah.
environment you live in, and
Yeah.
of course your health. You're like, well, that's pretty much life. You know, they just call yourself life,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, they would come down and be like, oh, you can't do the show. This is illegal. Da da da.
So people were saying that they would show up saying that they got tipped off.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't tell you who did it.
Yeah.
Which is also such a weird thing. It's kind of like, you saying, like, your girlfriend saying, like,
I heard something.
I heard something. And
Like,
you're like, what do you hear?
Yeah.
I can't tell you, but I heard something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
So
but what-
did someone tell you, or
Yeah.
are you suspecting? I
Yeah.
can't tell you. It's
yeah,
illegal.
exactly. Yeah, so we're not playing poker.
Yeah.
Just tell me straight. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like, so I'm just letting you know, man, you shouldn't do this. I'm like,
Yeah.
but why? What's happening? I heard something. It's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
what do you hear?
But as far as I understand, they didn't actually shut down any shows.
No, I don't
They
think
would
so.
just keep showing up.
Yeah, just showing up, kind of saying, yeah, this might be a problem. It's like, what problem, right?
Again, and it's going back to the earlier point. These were problems that are now
Okay.
completely okay.
Yeah.
And the difference is like 3 months, same people, same everything.
Yeah.
So they would show up to check the performance license sometimes.
Yeah, the venue.
And they would also check, the drinking, like
It was
nobody
really
was
weird.
drinking during the show.
Yeah, because like I think the rules back then was basically like you cannot have consumption of food and beverages while
Yeah.
there's a performance. It has to be separate. Because I remember, like I said, with banquets and everything,
Yeah.
they could not have a performer because they're eating.
Yeah.
But they could have speeches, but you can't have a performer.
Right.
And that was one of the things that I would always joke about. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Can I
doing
have a
comedy.
funny speech?
I'm
Yeah.
doing, they're like, oh, you're a funny speaker. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's legal. Like, yeah, like this is
Yeah.
what I mean by stupid.
I mean, I have seen some stand-up comedians in Hong Kong that their act qualifies more as a speech than
Yeah.
comedy.
Exactly.
So-
yeah. You're hearing them talking. You're like, I'm hearing the words.
Yeah.
It is a sentence.
They are talking.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has a few funny anecdotes in it,
Yeah.
but it's not really a comedy show.
Yeah, actually, this would be a good argument in court that they would be like, it's a performance. They're like, have you seen it?
Yeah, have you seen this guy's act? I mean, like, my God. What
that
is
was
this
not a
stuff?
performance. That
Exactly.
was a speech.
Yeah, even the judge is like, yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, why is this court even over here? Like,
Right.
this is rubbish, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be the one time that the comics who don't kill
Yeah.
actually get it better off.
Exactly.
You know, like, we're in the back going like, God damn it, man, why did my bit hit?
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you guys. Like,
Yeah.
how do you write stuff that just doesn't hit? I need to know, man.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, they're
I
like,
love
you just-
you're channeling your inner Seinfeld.
yeah, right. Yeah. How do you do it? That just joke doesn't work. Right? And they're like, you just write from the heart. I'm like, I do that too. Why does mine be funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of that. So I remember that time, and also we had to do the 48-hour PCR test, which is funny because back then I was really like weirded out where I was like, hey, when am I on the lineup? They're like, oh, you're last. I'm like, okay, so the show starts at 8. I'll probably be on at 9:45,
Yeah.
which means I've got to do it like, let's say 9:45, 48 hours ago. However, the problem is that all these PCR stations are closed. So I have to do it 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
Right? But then the PCR, the SMS might not come on time. It's really stupid. You know?
Yeah.
So that was the
right now. I will, because we still have the. So here's another question: Why are the stations, like, why are
they still
these
there?
testing centers still there?
I know. I was at
The
Victoria
one
Park
behind
today.
my house.
It's still there, right?
Yeah. Sayin Pun.
Yeah.
Still there, mostly empty. Someone is getting paid.
Yeah.
And they're like just hanging out.
I guess maybe they had like a contract for 6 months and like, well,
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna still be
They
here.
also, the saddest part is that they're taking over a playground.
yeah.
I was like,
Right?
people. It's actually better for public health to have people play sports.
Yeah, than
Then
having to
go-
get me tested.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Playground is a very good example. Like half of it where they have the soccer pitch
Yeah.
is the testing center.
Yeah.
And the other half basketball, just basketball. And I'm like, why would you want to put potential COVID people next to like a basketball court?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, the football is actually better.
Yeah.
Because you're not touching the same thing at the same
Not even
object at
using
the
your
same
hands,
time.
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Your hands don't have to be sanitized.
Yeah.
If anything.
It's actually illegal to use your hands.
Exactly, yeah. If anything, we should all learn from football.
Yeah.
And, live our lives like that. Right?
Yeah.
So,
And then, speaking of football, the World Cup also happened last month,
Yeah.
but we'll get to December.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
got that one as well. So that was September where we had the 40 hours thing. October, kind of weirdly enough, the corporate gigs started happening.
Yeah.
And that was when all the funny speeches were booked.
Right.
yeah. So a lot of those, and I was like, well, you want me to do what? They're like, just be a funny speaker.
Yeah.
And like, I remember getting an email saying like, oh, could you give us an invoice? I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
performance comedy. They're like, oh, could you call it funny speech? And I'm like, but what? I'm very confused.
Yeah.
What are you going to talk about? Oh, your normal stuff.
Is there a tax term for funny speech? Like
No.
different categorization?
Yeah.
That would be great.
I'm guessing I can't call it entertainment.
No.
You
you
just
probably
like
cannot.
honorarium,
Yeah.
like something like that,
Yeah.
speaker fee. I don't know.
Speaker fees sounds more serious than it actually
Right?
is.
I was like, I'm going to add another zero
You're making
to
fun
that.
of like hand sanitizer dispensers.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a speaker.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not talking about the global environment
Yeah.
of investing in NFTs.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? I guess if I'm in that category, then I'm just the same as Hillary Clinton doing her speaking
Yeah.
tour. So I guess speaker fee it is.
Yeah.
So I remember that was a weird time in October for me, where there were getting more and more corporate gigs happening. But again, a really weird specificity of like, oh, you're going to be a speaker. I'm like, I wink, wink.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Is that, was someone trying to say your name?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was
Wink,
that-
wink, wink, wink. Yeah, exactly. Look at that inside joke coming in. All right. So October happened, and then we got November. November is when things change.
Yeah.
John kind of
When we
settled in.
finally started seeing real change.
Yeah.
And my issue with that for the last few months before November especially have always been that people celebrate too quickly like such small victories that are not that are rights
Yeah.
for everyone else in the world.
Correct. Yeah.
But while we're like,
Yay!
we're
can do
allowed
this.
to now be more than 4 people
Yeah.
at the same table.
Right?
And we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's like, no, it's still not amazing.
Yeah.
It's still, you're still being harassed at the restaurant.
This is the reverse gratitude thing where like a lot of people that are like, oh, you're taking things for granted.
Yeah.
And then you have to be like, no, remember these things are, you should appreciate them.
Right.
Be grateful that you can.
Yeah.
We're reversing it. We're like, basically we're getting screwed.
Yeah.
And then like they're losing it. We're like, oh my God, you guys are the best.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
That was the norm.
Yeah.
They screwed you, took it away from you, and you can't come back saying like, thanks for returning what I always had.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I like I said, it was when there were these weird conditionings. We're like, oh, we're gonna do this. We're like, oh yes. But then at the same time, like, you should have done this ages ago.
Yeah.
Everyone else has done this. Right. And so like this is, I remember November, everybody is like, God, is lagging behind, I mean, get to work, speed it up, right? Which is going to come and haunt us real soon in December. When they heard our messages, they were like, speed it up.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
I need it today. The deadline was yesterday.
Yeah.
All that stuff, right? Somebody sent a motivational speaker, right? Clearly to not just the Hong Kong government, but probably even China or whatever.
Yeah.
And came up to them, did the whole Tony Robbins, the power of now.
Yeah.
The only difference between you and the successful guys that they did it today.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I get what you mean, right? And then so November happened, but
So in November we had the 0+3.
Yes, but we also had the 2 PCRs per week,
Right.
which is the weird, bizarre thing.
For performance, just to make it clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for performers and stuff, right? Now, initially, I thought that what you could do is do it back to back.
Yeah.
Like literally go down there, line
Sure.
up once, do a PCR, and re-line up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically correct, right?
Yeah.
I did it within the week. Chris Musey corrected me because he apparently does read the law.
Yeah.
And he read, he's like, you can't do it back to back.
Yeah.
You can't even do it consecutive days. There must be a day in between.
What?
And I was like, why?
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, wouldn't it be
Also,
safer?
he reads the law? What
Yeah.
a loser.
I know, right? I was like, dude, like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, read a biography.
Yeah,
What are we reading
exactly.
the law for,
Watch
right?
porn.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
something
yeah,
useful
something
with
more
your day.
productive. Yeah, right. And then he was like, I was thinking to myself, like, why wouldn't you allow me to do consecutive days?
Yeah.
Like, even if anything, if I have a show on Friday, let me do Wednesday and Thursday. It's better for everybody.
Of
Like,
course,
oh, but
yeah.
we don't want that.
So they actually want full 24 hours, or it's just like one calendar day in
One
between?
calendar day.
Okay.
So if you did like, let's say Tuesday evening, you could do Thursday morning.
Right.
But the idea is to have a day
Sure.
between. I'm like, well, that
Yeah.
does. I mean,
Because the centers are actually open until 8 p.m.,
Yeah.
8:30 almost.
unless they're lazy, some of them just like close early. That
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get
but
that every
like
now and
that
then.
means you can actually do a very late one on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and a very early one on Thursday.
Yeah.
You're very close to
which
having.
is just as stupid.
Exactly.
But, yeah, exactly. But it serves the purpose of like,
Yeah.
I did too close enough.
Yeah.
The idea was just that you could save time and get it done. Because
Sure.
let's be honest, like if I didn't have a show till Friday, doing a test any time before Friday, the closer the better.
Yeah,
Obviously,
exactly.
right? Yeah, but I don't know. Right?
And then the other thing is, do we know throughout the last 6 months, is Penny's Bay still? What happens to people
we
who are
don't talk.
positive?
So if I'm correct, Penny's Bay was still a thing.
Yeah.
Because I know that some people did get sent there.
Really?
Yeah, there was. I remember like my girlfriend's grandmom got COVID and they got sent there with the helper and stuff like that. So I remember that happened. I'm like, wow, this is still a happening
And that was
thing.
around what?
I believe
month?
that was like in September.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a thing. I think November, December they started loosening up. They're probably
Yeah.
like, people don't like this anymore. And then
It's also close to Disneyland, isn't it?
I have no idea, and I don't ever
I
want
think
to
it's
know.
on Lantau.
I'm guessing. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I highly doubt they're gonna use precious land on Hong Kong
No,
Island
no,
for that. Yeah,
no.
it doesn't feel like it. But then again, we could be completely wrong.
Right.
And maybe it's actually in the heart of Sang Poon. I mean, it could be one of those.
If it is
things.
in the heart of Saipan, that will also be like, it will be sponsored by Eric Kaiser.
For sure.
And
For sure.
yeah, it will have some weird rules that do not apply.
You know what they really should do though? When this whole thing is done and we don't need it
Yeah.
anymore, they should turn that into like a staycation thing.
Yeah.
Make a really positive out of that.
Right.
You know, make a little kind of like time capsule feeling of like, did you want to know what it was like?
Yeah.
Do you miss the good old days when you felt safe? You know, all that stuff.
I don't know who is the what is the right word? Like, who's the self-hating?
Yeah,
like,
because that's gonna do
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I believe
who's a
it's gonna
psycho
be-
is gonna be like voluntarily.
It's going to be in 20 years when all the unfortunate kids who did successfully get brainwashed.
Right.
It's going to be like, that's, yes.
You mean the ones who took the vaccine?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you and me. The ones who are going to grow the third arm.
Right.
In like 20 years' time, you're like, I need help.
Yeah.
Let me go there. Yeah. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I was just thinking of like, it'd be one of those things that parents can probably send their kids.
Yeah.
Instead of giving like, because like in Hong Kong, you can't really have a timeout for your kid.
Yeah.
You don't have like, want to stand in the corner because you have no corners anyway in your house
Yeah.
that you could stand at. So that'll be a very good one. I bet you anything it's going to be a matter of time before it's going to be like a school picnic outing.
Oh yeah, that I understand. Yeah, like
Yeah.
for like, day trip.
Yeah, day trip.
Oh, you know what could be fun? Turning into a haunted house.
Yeah. Oh.
I think that would be really
They
cool.
would not have to need to decorate anything.
No, no, not at all.
They just walk in there
They
like,
just charge tickets. That's all they need to do.
they would just have to function it like they did before.
Exactly.
And that would freak the shit out
Yeah,
of
the
people.
hazmat suits,
Oh,
yelling
yeah,
at
full on.
people.
Yeah, exactly.
And the bad food.
Yeah.
And not allowed to open the door. and
Just like freak them out. And like the moment you open, like let's say you have one bag for trash,
Yeah.
people, and you have to survive there for 24 hours.
that's so fun.
Halloween night.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you think Disney will probably copy the idea.
Oh yeah, for
I mean, like,
sure.
we gotta do it. And you have like your next door neighbors like Mickey Mouse or something. Like, ho, I have COVID. Ho, ho. One of those
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Oh, that'd be so
Penny's
cool.
Bay Haunted House is such a good idea.
Such a good idea,
Yeah.
man. Like number one, that.
Yeah.
Number two, also, I think it's one of those things that you could turn into a TV show.
Oh yeah.
You basically a reality show.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
put people
exactly.
in there,
Yeah.
and like it's like one of those things like a Survivor.
Yeah.
And they gotta just literally just survive. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
The first person to break it leaves, kind of
Yeah.
a deal. I bet you anything. And of course, do not forget that it will also be one of those things where, let's say, they'll reenact things. For example, the pipes will break. The shower won't work. They'll forget the kettle.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just basically letting you feel like, hey, I miss the good old days.
Yeah.
When we had this crazy stuff happening. I needed to refuel my youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna happen, man. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the best.
Nice.
Yeah. See, look at us being positive already.
I know.
in
Yeah.
2023.
Finally.
Yeah. Right.
And so December also had the World Cup.
Yeah. They had the World Cup. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't follow any of it, but you did tell me that Argentina had a great final match.
Yeah. It's very. I mean, and as far as I know, Saudi Arabia won the World Cup.
They were the ones, yeah.
Because they are the only team that did beat Argentina.
Correct, and-
in fact, they are trying to take credit for whipping Argentina into like waking up very early on. So they're like, we are the ones who
yeah, gave you the wake up call.
Give
Like,
them
hey,
the wake up
get
call
to
very
it.
early. Get to
Yeah.
work if you want to win this thing. And Argentina's
Yeah.
like, got it.
Yeah.
And then it was all. I mean, there is a special celebration in Hong Kong by everyone who's not French that France lost.
Yeah.
Just because obviously Hong Kong.
French.
Yeah, Hong
Yeah.
Kong loves their French
Of course.
bashing.
Absolutely.
And I mean, there is nothing better than, like, I saw a meme the other day that it was like, oh yeah, France, the world moved past France. France doesn't exist anymore, something like that.
Yeah. We don't see you anymore.
Yeah, we don't- yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong government, when they built the Central Library in Causeway Bay,
Yeah.
decided to add some foreign culture to it by having a Deli France as the cafe of choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, what better culture to bring in
Yeah.
than Deli France?
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
So, but Hong Kong does love. Here's something that did change over the last few months. At least in my neighborhood in Saipan, The bakeries and the coffee shops are completely out of control.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. I walked around Taiping Shan. So Taiping Shan, which apparently was voted one of the coolest neighborhoods in the world.
Yeah.
By some magazine, which I actually do understand because it's a super cool neighborhood. I don't know about the word, but it's a cool neighborhood. Very chill, very gentrified.
Yeah.
Just a lot of,
that
white
type.
people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Taiping Shan, I would say it's less than 500 meters of street, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels very small.
It's a short one, yeah.
Very short one. I walked with my friend the other day. We counted coffee shops. Can you guess how many?
I would say 14.
15.
Oh my god.
15 coffee shops.
Dude.
And I mean, obviously you wouldn't keep opening businesses if they're not working.
Let's be honest. I mean, what, a $60, $50 cup of coffee?
Yeah.
And look.
And I'm in the coffee business, by the way. I know exactly how much this stuff costs.
Yeah.
And the cost, if you add labor, overhead, and rent, I don't run this kind of business, but I would say probably the cost of the coffee would maybe be $8 to $10.
8 to 10. So they're making a profit like 40, 50 bucks. Wow.
Which
makes sense.
It's a lucrative business.
Absolutely. And the best part of this is that, let's be very honest, half of those coffees were not meant to be drunk.
No.
They're meant to get a photo of it.
Yes.
And then tell their friends, I'm having coffee now.
That's it.
Live stream what they have to do.
It's tell your followers that you're having coffee. And that's the thing. They now are competing, not even in like the style of coffee, like, oh, we're making like crazy latte art or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just competing how, like, to have one or two items on the menu that are different.
Oh, yeah.
Just
it's the Instagram drinks, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Instagram drinks. But then making sure that the other coffees that are normal are drinkable for the people like us who want to drink a regular coffee.
Correct, yeah.
There is one called Coffee Remedy. It's right around the corner from Craftissimo. And Coffee Remedy is actually quite a normal, very small coffee corner place, except that the cups itself are cute.
Okay.
So the cup itself says like 0% fat, 0% gluten or whatever, 100% happiness, stuff cute
One of
like
those,
that.
Yeah,
and it's just like, that's it. And it's always like young people outside of it just taking photos with the cup.
Oh, it's 100% happiness.
Yeah.
I know. So the weird thing is, like, I never used to drink coffee until I met my girlfriend, and like she's really into coffee.
Yeah.
And then, so now I've kind of drunk enough coffee where I can like go somewhere. I'm like, all right, this is too hot.
Yeah.
You guys clearly messed this one up, right?
Yeah.
You can't basically trick me anymore. Where it's like, I guess I don't know any better.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I found is that I've been to so many coffee shops in Hong Kong now.
Yeah.
Where the truth is, it seems like majority of the people there don't really even know what a good cup of coffee is. They know the flavor is coffee-ish.
Yeah.
I get it. But like when they're like, oh, it's just coffee. I'm like, oh, dude, like this doesn't make sense anymore. Like I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, there is a certain there is a guy who opened the cafe from Sai Kung, who's had a cafe so successful.
Yeah.
He opened another one in Kenny Town called Little Cove, and it's a huge place, very big, very white, bright. It's very beautiful. But he is someone who I have seen many times people come for the coffee itself. Like they're not going to just like dick around. Like
they want the drink.
They want the drink.
All right, okay.
And he
Little
cares
Cove.
about the coffee so much. Yeah. It's called Little Cove.
Inside Poon.
In Kenny Town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll check that out.
Yeah. If you guys are listening as well, Adam in Little Cove. I mean, a lot of especially Sai Kung people would know who he is because his cafe in Sai Kung is also called Little Cove, and it's just like became so successful. But the one in Kenny Town is huge. But do check it out. It's a pretty nice place, and Adam is a wonderful guy.
Oh, okay.
So let's go back to our timeline.
Okay.
So now
we're in December, right?
December, World Cup happened.
Yeah, World Cup happened.
Messi is the GOAT, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. We did that.
We upset the French. Everyone is happy that the French are not happy.
All good.
This is actually a theme that Hong Kong is going back to its original ways.
Yeah.
Before all of this shit.
Yeah.
We had our own little problems, our own little things that we like to do. Bother the French is one of them.
And we could.
We could now.
Yeah. They
because
did it to
before
themselves,
we were
let's be honest.
of course we did. They did. But before we were distracted by fighting the cops or whatever, or being annoyed by restaurants.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of those. It's like, I gotta team up with this French guy to find an alleyway to get out of here.
Now we can go back to our favorite thing of bullying the French people.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, could we run through this place, s'il vous plaît?
Yeah.
God damn it! I gotta work with you for this
Café
one.
de Corral.
Yeah. Right.
Being
a thing that we could hide in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Delhi, France, and Café de Corral and just regroup over there.
Yeah.
Now finally, none of that running. You can look at them and go like, ugh, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that again. All right. So the thing though is that other than the World Cup, December also was a turning point for Hong Kong's policies. I believe what happened is in China, they started having this whole thing where oh, I hear you, I see you, I raise you.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, you know what? Today, here today, gone tomorrow.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right. But the policy changed, and Hong Kong government was like, all right, I got you, man. Let's do this. And bam, all of a sudden it's like, we don't need this. We need that.
But did I share with you? It's probably my favorite comment tweet on the whole COVID zero situation. It was person. Actually, let me pull it out because I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, the quote. Yeah. You got to make sure that's correct. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It was a very welcome adjustment to the rules. However, a little bit of us are kind of going hold on a second. This is weird. This is a bit too fast. Something's up your sleeve, man.
So it says the public asking. So when are we opening up? Beijing says 10. Public 10 months, 10 weeks. Beijing 9. 8, 7.
Yeah. That's good, dude. That's good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, oh no, hold on. Yeah. So this is where the funny thing comes in. So Lo Chung Mao, the health chief guy in Hong Kong, he comes out, he does this whole talk about oh no, we're not gonna loosen things up, it's for safety, and then we're keeping the app and everything. And then within a day, John Lee's we're loosening up, we're not doing that. And then Lo Chung Mao's gonna come out yeah, we're gonna loosen things up.
Yeah.
And you can see in his voice, he's like, I guess.
You can actually see the think bubble on his head, which part of his body is he gonna hold.
Yeah. All that stuff is oh God, I can't believe it.
Oh, my head.
Yeah. Help me. And that's the funny thing. Every press conference he was at, I was like, why is he not dropping down on the floor, clutching his knee? This is the moment he could.
This is the moment,
This could be it. He's like, I got shot in the knee. Get me out of here, right? So all that stuff happened. And the best part is that at one point, he actually in the press conference, I'm trying to translate the Cantonese, he was saying that the government feels that the Hong Kong public is so familiar with COVID that it is time to hand over the responsibility of doing precautions to the public. I was like, what? Wait, hold on. I was like, I'm sorry. Isn't your job? Hold on. Wait, what do you mean? Just because we know a lot, so we should do it ourselves? What are you, IKEA? This doesn't really work here, man.
We trust you to make the right decision.
Yeah.
With the but then that means that we shouldn't pay you.
Yeah. So do we take the masks off? Because I'm taking the responsibility in my hand. What are you judge dreading me? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Imagine if you're flying a plane.
Yeah.
And then right after takeoff, they're like, oh yeah, where is the food service? They're like, we trust you have flown long enough. Yeah. So anyone, you all have over 20,000 miles of flying. So you're clearly experienced flyers.
Correct.
So now we trust you to make the right decision with your food options.
Fish, chicken, beef, whatever you want, man. It's all over there. You figure it out.
Yeah. It's no flight attendants, no. Oh, and no pilot either.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Have enough flying experience.
It's autopilot, people. You just will. When there's a will, there's a way. Right? I mean, at that point, I was just I give up, man. Clearly this guy's hit a point where he's like, look, I'm going to make an announcement today.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, no, we're going to do this. And someone's going to purposely just mess with me and change the policy. And tomorrow I can come out and be like, all right, guys, so what I said yesterday, let's forget that.
As of we're recording now, 1st of January, the only COVID-related restriction we have is the mask mandate.
Yeah, the mask mandate.
I believe this is it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can take your mask off if you're exercising, which is, again, really weird because, I've seen so many people, even today in Causeway Bay, right? I was at Victoria Park, and there's crowded people because they have, the expo and everything over there. And, it's so crowded, but yet one or two people without the mask.
Right.
Now, ironically, they're dressed up in running clothes. I get it, right? But they're waiting to cross the road.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, you're not really exercising right now, right? And the cops are there, but the cops are like, oh, this guy's dressed up to run. I'm like, hey, hold on a second.
Yeah.
What if I can't afford all these fancy, running outfits?
Yeah.
But I am running. Can I still take the mask off? It's kind of really weird.
No, but it's Hong Kong. It's all about like what you look like.
Right, exactly.
Right?
You got to give the
This
perception.
is why Lululemon is killing it here.
Absolutely.
Because there has been zero people who have Lululemon clothes who actually work out. Those two groups are not the same.
Yeah. They look like they're working out.
Yeah,
and perception is key.
Yes.
So you're looking at them going like, I guess that is how you work out? I'm guessing you have to read the newspaper halfway through, one of those things, right? You got to work out, go to shopping, I'm guessing. Maybe they're lifting weights by
I was in a yoga class. That's actually pretty funny. I was in a yoga class and the instructor, like we had like a stretching exercise. So you put the yoga block like under
the back, the lower back.
The lower back. And she literally, I swear to God, she literally said, Put the block where the Lululemon logo is.
That becomes like the standard.
It becomes a standard. And I'm like, first of all, I don't have Lululemon anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And second, like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I bet you it's a matter of time, like in 1 or 2 generations, I'm thinking like, put the block where your tramp stamp is. And they're like, oh, I have a tramp stamp of Lululemon's logo. It's like, oh, okay, this is just
so
come full
funny.
circle.
This is like where the Lululemon logo. I was like, so okay, that means if I don't have Lululemon clothes, I probably don't qualify to be in the class.
Yeah, she's probably looking at you like, you don't take this seriously.
Yeah.
How dare you come in with just like a plain, Bossini shorts.
Also, Lululemon, if you're listening, you can totally sponsor us. And
Oh yeah, please give us that. We'll wear your tights. No problem, man. Yeah, we're cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So so basically like things have changed.
Oh yeah. Well, I also have one thing. So while all of this, like people are close to me, and I think a lot of our audience know that nothing much is happening in my life. Did happen in my life in 2022. However, I did manage to also leave one time.
Yeah.
Which was in November. So first time before that was early 2020, like most people. And I was in Hong Kong the entire time. I did manage to go to Thailand for a friend's wedding, and that took ages. I had a whole fiasco with my passport being extended first.
Now, I just want to say something though. Now, for all of you listening to this podcast for free, you are hearing this, a condensed version of this story.
Yes.
Because we told this on other platforms.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody, I want you to remember, he's really condensing the key points here.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So enjoy this. Let me tell you this. When I heard the story, I'm like, this is gold.
Yeah.
Like, I need to see like a 1-hour special coming from you.
Yeah.
Talking about this.
That I think eventually whatever final product it becomes, whether it's a book or a special or something, it's gonna be my world tour of embassies.
Yeah.
It's not my world tour of actual countries.
Yeah.
It's world tour how many embassies would reject me.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that actually legally means I have been to these countries.
Yeah.
Because embassies are actually part of the country.
I mean, the good thing will be like, what you do is like, if you talk about the whole Thai embassy and everything, you should get your show sponsored by the Philippine embassy. Just to mess with them. Like, come to the Philippines instead. We don't have that problem.
But to backtrack, and as you said, like this is obviously a very condensed version of it. But to backtrack, earlier in the year, I was supposed to renew my Egyptian passport to go to the consulate as you do when you are a foreigner, and then they say, oh yeah, but we need your ID. Now I haven't been to Egypt for like 5 years, and even in Egypt no one uses their ID for anything. I'm like, I don't know what ID. He's like, yeah, we need the ID. I'm like, okay, so what do you need? It's like, do you have the ID? I'm like, no, absolutely not. It's like, okay, you need to get a new one. I'm like, no, wait, I found it. They're like, yeah, that's expired. So I need to I renew the ID to renew the passport. So I apply for the thing, pay a bunch of money. Of course, everything's through quote unquote a diplomatic pouch, which takes ages to go around the world. Eventually, I keep following up with them about the ID coming back. I am getting closer to not just the expiry date of my passport, I'm also getting closer to the expiry date of my Hong Kong visa, right? So now there is like 3 things happening at the same time. Eventually, I follow up with them after like 6 weeks.
Can I just take a moment, like everybody else, if you thought your life was bad, I want you to take a moment of gratitude and just realize not only do you not have an Egyptian passport, if
you're not Egyptian.
You're not Egyptian.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if you let's say, oh, but I am Egyptian. I'm like, did you have an Egyptian ID that's expired?
Yeah.
No? Okay, all right. If you have that, okay. Let's say you have an Egyptian ID that's expired, your Egyptian passport's due for renewal.
Yeah.
Did you also have a Hong Kong ID card that's due for expiration?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure sure statistically, it is impossible
No, it's
that you got an
impossible.
audience who can outdo you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like these moments that this is why I do the podcast. 'Cause
Exactly.
it's for my mental well-being.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how bad my life is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No matter how bad your life is, you can rely on your buddy Muhammad.
I'm like, Muhammad, tell me how your day was. Yeah, not even like what was the bad things that happened. Just tell me your day.
Exactly.
And I'm like, this is fantastic. Yeah. All right. So okay, everything's expiring.
Everything is expiring. I'm bothering the Egyptian consulate to get me my ID back.
Yeah.
Eventually, I just like send a pretty angry message to be like, "Yo, where's my ID?" And he goes, "Let me check." Sends me 15 minutes later a text message, a WhatsApp message with a picture of my ID sitting on his desk. He's like, "This the ID?"
Yeah.
And so clearly has had it the whole time. And I'm like, okay, fine. So now I have to apply for the passport. I apply for the passport. Long story short, this is a very condensed version. Long story short, the passport does not come on time.
No.
Even though they did tell me it will come on time by the time I renew my...
Right, so you got the ID in a soft copy photo of it, saying that your ID is ready for pickup.
Yes.
You had to go and pick up the ID first.
Yes.
You got
and
the
on
ID.
the same day,
Yes.
I apply for the passport.
Boom, look at you, efficiency.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I had already filled in all the applications and everything, so I paid the money. And I'm like, okay, so my Hong Kong visa is expiring in August. And I'm applying like May. And they're like, don't worry, it might take long, but it's going to be 2 months.
Yeah.
We come mid-August, I'm 1 week out from...
Freaking out.
And freaking out. My Hong Kong visa is expiring. That means I cannot leave the country. And I'm like, yo, where's my passport? They're like, what passport? I'm like, oh, no, don't do this shit. So, and I go and I complain, no passport. So now my Hong Kong visa actually expired. So now we have a new problem, which is that I need to notify immigration that my Hong Kong passport, my Hong Kong visa is expired, but I want to work, to continue to work.
Correct. Obviously.
So, yeah.
As a good citizen.
As a good citizen.
Yeah.
And I notify immigration. They're like, okay, we will get back to you. Immigration does not get back to me.
This is Hong Kong immigration.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm now... so the timeline is a little fuzzy. So I'm talking about the beginning of August. My Hong Kong visa expires 11th of August.
All right.
So I tell them, hey, I applied for a new passport. Here's a letter from my consulate saying my passport is in process. Can I please stay and work past the 11th of August because I have one source of income and I need to work. They're like, we'll get back to you. They did not.
So it's the 10th of August. They haven't replied.
It's the 10th of August. They haven't replied. I have 3 or 4 emails coming out. No one has ever
You're checking your
responded to
spam
the
box
phone.
and everything.
Yeah. No one just responded to my email. They decide to call me on the 10th of August saying, well, we have good news and bad news. They did not say it like this, but this is exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Good news and bad news. Good news is that you can stay in Hong Kong from tomorrow since you give us proof that the embassy is processing your letter. Bad news is that starting tomorrow you cannot work. And like...
You're like, okay, so that's not going to be good.
No, it's not good at all.
Yeah.
Because you're literally like letting me stay with no income and it's open-ended because my consulate is useless.
Yeah.
And then I'm bothering the consulate.
Oddly enough, your consulate not working has stopped you from working.
Exactly.
In a place you came to work. Look at the meta, man. This is like
it's very meta.
It's very Inception.
Yeah.
I'm here to work. You can't work. Why
Yeah.
can't I work? Because they're not working. Such a Seinfeld thing, man.
Yeah.
You can't get anything done because if they work, you can work. But if they don't work, you can't work. Oh, that's my time.
Right. So you think this is solved in a matter of weeks? No, you're wrong again. This is solved in November.
November.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Lord.
I get my passport. I do get my passport in like October or whatever. So 2 months, no work. I'm not out of job. I can't.
So the passport came to your mail, or you had to go pick it up?
I have to go pick it up.
Okay, so they sent you a letter.
I know that was literally. I'm not being funny. That was me calling them every other day because I know this is the only way these things work. If I don't keep harassing them, they're just gonna forget about me.
Man.
So that was me until one time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it just arrived." I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Yay."
Oh, what a coincidence. I call you at 12 and game just now 11:59.
Yep. So because the passport, because I'm now out of employment bullshit, the immigration says, okay, I send them the new passport, and they're like, okay, but we need to process your new employment thing. So please give it another whatever.
Yeah.
So I end up not working at all for 3 months.
Yeah.
Not just that, I'm trying to go to my friend's wedding in Thailand. And that's when it gets a whole other... I don't even know, like we're almost running out of time, but I am trying to apply for a Thailand visa.
All right, you know what? For the Thailand thing, I'm going to try to do this like a quick fire thing, all right?
Yeah.
And we'll try to squeeze it down. All right,
Yes.
okay. So let's put aside the whole Hong Kong ID, work visa, all that stuff.
Yes.
Now your mission is simple.
Yes.
I need to get my ass to Thailand.
Correct.
All right, okay.
Yes.
So step number 1, did you try to get an airplane ticket?
Yes.
All right, you tried to
I
apply.
know. Wait. You're talking about Catch-22s. I have to get an airplane ticket to apply for the
Boom,
visa.
that's exactly the point.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So here you are trying to get the airplane ticket
Yes.
because, not because you want to fly to Thailand,
Yeah.
because to get your visa to go to Thailand.
Yes.
So what was the first step? Did you look for visa or airplane ticket first, initially?
Well, you look for the visa first
All right, okay.
to get to know what the requirements are.
All right, so you go to the visa website. You're like, all right, what do I need, right? So
Yeah.
they're like, kapun ka, you need all this kind of stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes.
All right, you got all this stuff. First of all, I'm very sorry. If
Sawadee
Sawadee ka, not kapun ka, but okay, whatever. I messed that
That's
up.
terrible.
That was terrible.
Leave it in.
Yeah, I'll leave it in. Okay, and they're like, you need a. I just want everybody to know, I literally have no Thai friends.
Right, yeah.
And the only reason I know kapun ka is because I buy stuff at a Thai store, and that's
Right.
the only phrase they say,
Right,
and that's the
right.
one I only hear.
Right.
And therefore my brain is like, oh, you want some Thai words? Here's one. Kapun ka. And I'm sure I already messed that up as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at the visa website, you're like, I gotta apply for this stuff. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You're filling out the form, all that stuff. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
You want to click the tick boxes, everything done.
Yeah.
You click and submit, and they're like, oh, before you submit, you need to show us a valid airplane ticket.
Correct.
You're like, boom, I got this. Let me
Yes.
go to skyscanner.com, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're checking all that stuff. You're trying to get the airplane ticket. Now, this is the weird twist though, because like without the visa,
Yeah.
your airplane ticket is useless.
Yes, you're
All right.
you're just giving money to a big company.
Yeah, right.
That's what you're
okay,
doing.
all right. So now you're trying to get the airplane ticket.
Yes.
And you got the airplane ticket.
Yes.
Dude, done. Okay. So then you got the airplane ticket, e-copy, whatever, bam, you all
Oh, also, I need permission from immigration to leave.
Hong Kong immigration.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. Let's okay. You're trying to get the visa. Visa says go get me an airplane
Yeah.
ticket. You want to get the airplane ticket. The airplane ticket is like I'll go get the immigration to say you can like leave. Like goddamn people, like
Yeah.
everybody communicate, right?
Yes.
So the Hong Kong immigration, like, hey, can I get out of here? They're like, yes, no.
Yes. No, immigration said okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So now you can. They finally did not ask you to talk to anybody else.
Yes.
Good. So now you have the I'm allowed to leave here in your
Correct.
hand.
Yeah.
You go to the airplane ticket. They're like, I need one of these airplane tickets.
Yeah.
You got that done.
Yes.
I'm sure the airplane website was like, make sure your visa. Of
course,
right?
yeah.
And you're like, tick. All
Yeah.
good. Now you got the airplane ticket. Money's down. You can't refund.
No.
Nothing's changing.
Yes.
Now this is the ultimate, the visa time, right?
Yes.
You go to the visa office. Did you go personally or online?
No, it's online.
All right. So you sent an email or online form.
Yeah, you kind of like fill in an online form.
All right, online form. All right, this is you.
Yeah.
You fill out the form. You check in everything twice. Your name is super long. You copy paste whatever stuff. You have to attach the airplane ticket information. Right. You send to them. You're like, in the world of digital technology, when I press the submit button, they should receive it now,
Yes.
which would give you the hint that they will also process it now.
Yes.
All right. So you submitted it.
Yeah.
You made sure the little circly thing said, submission received. They give you the stupid case number, whatever.
Yeah, in fact, they actually have a portal where you can monitor the progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can check every single day,
Yes.
refresh every 15 seconds. All right,
Exactly.
you've done that.
Yes.
You're feeling good. You're thinking, dude, I'm at this wedding. Let's
Yeah.
plan. I want to get a gift for this guy.
Right.
You start messaging each other. What are we dressing for the wedding? Also,
Yeah.
you're planning everything.
Yeah, they made a whole website for the wedding. I was very excited looking at like the places we'll stay at and the
Yeah.
food we'll eat and all of that.
All right. So this is day one. You submitted. You did your responsibility. You're like, oh, man, I did what I have to do. I'm all good. Day two. What's happening from then on?
Day 2 is me refreshing every 15 seconds
Right.
and the website saying processing.
So day two would be like, what, -7 days, right? I think that was.
No, that's actually not true. I applied quite early in
Quite-
advance.
yeah, I remember you told me. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a
no,
long
I
time ago, yeah.
applied quite early before knowing what I know about my passport and visa experiences. I had applied very early. I
So
would say
at this
actually like
30?
yeah, we're
Alright, so
talking about at least a month before the wedding time.
Yeah.
Before the ticket on the
When you have to
date
fly
on
out.
the ticket.
Yeah.
Because we went 26 or something like
Yeah,
very
so
late
at least
in
a month
November.
before.
Exactly.
All right, you submitted it. You're like, it's all good. You
Yeah.
checked your calendar. How many public holidays are there?
Right,
You know,
right.
as the
So
king-
actually, to jump ahead a bit, like for the first week, when it says processing, I wasn't even worried.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm still fine.
I mean, duh.
3
I
weeks,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
3 weeks out, Thailand
It's
visa.
processing, so
Yes,
I feel
exactly.
confident. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I realized that it's taking a little long, and it's one of these things like, all right, this is slightly.
Yeah, you're looking
comfortable.
at the font didn't change. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a percentage. You're like, this is getting weird.
Right. And then the status changes, and it says asking requires for further documents.
Oh, all right. Was that a moment when you refreshed? Or like, let's say you logged in the morning, it's
Yes.
processing. Afternoon was that one of the things where you saw it
Yes.
halfway through
Exactly.
the oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
because it gives you actually a little notification. It's kind of like a Facebook
Oh, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So there's like a little bell
Yeah.
with notification, and it has a small red dot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, something's happening, something's
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
And of course, your first thought is like, I got the visa. I got
Yes,
the fucking
done.
visa.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, no, requires further documents. To which I opened the notification thing, and it says like, check your email, check my email. And it says like, it just basically asks for more proof of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it got problematic because the email said it requires a Hong Kong ID or requires proof of residence rather. And I had already submitted my Hong Kong ID. So I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't see it. Maybe this is an automated thing. For safety, I'll respond with my Hong Kong ID again. The email, now that I'm thinking about it, the email did say Hong Kong ID. HKID is what the exact wording. So I uploaded it, sent it, and then a couple of days later, refresh as I do, rejected. Oh. It just says failed to apply. Please apply again.
Did it have like a little animated GIF next to it?
I wish it did. I wish it had at least a sad face.
Yeah.
Like the 2 dots and the bracket.
Yeah. Aw.
No, rejected. And that's when I'm like, no. Just no.
Come
like,
on.
When you see that, come on.
HKID, I give it to you.
Yeah. So I show up. So the whole automated process is actually automated that you're not supposed to go to the consulate at all. But I try, of course, to like send the email. No one is responding. Call. Now we're about like 2 weeks out. Like actually less than 2 weeks out. Like 10 days. Now I'm like, okay. I'm looking up like how long it will take to apply again even. Like what the fuck. So I show up there.
You go there physically, right?
Go there. I look up where they are. There's some building in Admiralty. I go there. And I go to so there is a window for people applying for like business or marriage visas or whatever. So there is like something's
happening there, yeah.
So I go to that window and I talk to the lady, try to explain to her the situation, and she goes, I don't know. And then she writes on a piece of paper something, slips it under the window, like the movies, lifts her hand, and on the paper it says, talk to reception lady. But she's looking around making sure the camera doesn't catch her.
Wow.
Which is like, did I walk into a criminal?
Yeah. I mean, you're not telling me to do something like that outrageous. Like, just talk to the reception lady.
Yeah.
Like,
You can also
that's a
say
very
that.
normal thing.
Yeah, no, but she didn't want to say it. She just kept saying, I don't know, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And her paper said, talk to reception lady.
Wow.
I go to reception lady and I just bother her until she goes inside and grabs the guy who is in charge of making these decisions.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm like, yo, rejected? Like, are you kidding me? What's happening? And he goes, oh, let me look. Goes back inside, the whole bullshit. Comes back and he goes, oh yeah, we sent you asking for your proof of residence and you gave us your Hong Kong ID. What we wanted was your Hong Kong visa. I'm like, that's not true. Here's your email saying HKID.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but we meant proof of residence.
I mean, dude, it doesn't work that way.
I'm like, yeah, I don't need to read your fucking intention.
Yeah.
What do you mean you meant?
What are you, a fiction novel? Like,
Yeah,
it was meant
you
to be.
rely on me to interpret your own. He's like, yeah, we need the Hong Kong visa. I'm like, you said Hong Kong ID.
Yeah.
Because okay, well, that's not what we meant. I'm like, okay, can you go back and fix it? He's like, no. I'm like, so what do you want me to do? He goes, you can apply again. I'm like, you can? Like, are you just giving me the option to apply again? But also, I'm like, with your logic, that means you can reject me again. He goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, but you're telling me that if I apply again, first of all, you don't refund me the first money. Second, you're not guaranteeing me now that you're going to give me the visa. He goes, yeah, but I'm telling you that there is no reason for me to reject you again.
I love it.
I'm like, you just rejected me admitting that you fucked up your email.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, because that email is an automated thing. We have to check in on our system and then it goes to you that way. I'm like, not my problem.
Yeah, it's your internal stuff.
Exactly.
This is like going at a bar, going up to somebody, buying them a drink, and going like, hey, you want to go out sometime?
Yeah.
But like, no,
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, okay. I mean, is there anything I could do that you got? You're like, you buy me another drink. It's like, what?
That's a perfect analogy.
Just rejecting me. Well, maybe the second one will do the difference. Like, no.
Yeah. That's perfect. It's like, okay, does the buying you the second drink guarantee that
like,
I have a better chance?
Like, no.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, what? But hold on. I'm confused. Like, we can try buying it first.
Yeah.
But you're like, yeah, but the bar's going to close like in 10 minutes.
Except that in this analogy, the person to agree to talk to you in the first place, they already ask you for a drink.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't show up empty-handed.
Yeah.
And be like, let's see how this goes, and then if I feel good, I can buy them a drink. It's like, oh, do you want to talk to me? No, you buy me a drink first.
It's like, okay, I got it. So you go up to this person at the bar.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I want to buy you a drink and everything. Like, no, I don't want your drink. You're like, come on, man, let me buy you a drink.
Yeah.
No, I don't want your drink. And then they suddenly get a sheet of paper that slips. It's like, talk to waiter. You go to the waiter, like, could you buy her a drink?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, And then so like the waiter gets her a drink, and you're like, hey, I got you your drink. So what's your name? I won't tell you. Like, what? What do you mean? I won't tell you. When I told you to talk to waiter, I meant have a conversation. I didn't mean to get me a drink through the waiter.
Exactly.
I was like, what? No, I asked you want a drink. You gave me talk to waiter. I think that's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
No, that's what I meant. I was like, all right. You're like, okay, fine. You're like, okay, girl, could you have your number? Like, no. I want to give you a number. It's like, okay. I mean, hey, just curious. You know what? I know I failed. It's not going to work out this time. Just so I better next time.
Yeah.
What could I have done to get your number?
Yeah.
Buy me a drink.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you're like, wait, hold on.
Okay, if
right.
this doesn't work, can I get my money back from you for the first drink?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly. The drink has been done.
Exactly.
Drunk. And the waiter looking at you like,
the drink has been drunk.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Okay.
in our little situation here, he goes, I'm not telling you I'll give you the visa, but I'm telling you there will be no reason for me to reject you. I'm like,
but there's a
but there was
possibility.
but also there was no reason for you to reject me in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you fucked up.
You said HKID when the spelling is HKVISA.
And your email it says HKID. And he goes, but our system says proof of residence. I'm like, how would I know that?
Right, exactly. You asked for this, I give you this. You're like, but that's not what I want. Like, what are you like? Don't give me these mixed signals.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes, you can apply again. But also I stood there and bothered him a bit more. And he goes like, this is grounds to like ban you. I'm like, okay, so now you're also threatening me. I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. As far as I understand, I paid you money. You took my money from what I know, because I don't know you, right? And this is business. We're not friends. As far as I understand, I paid money on a legal website for the Thai government. You took my money, never looked at my papers, and rejected me. And when I showed up and asked for explanation, you admitted that you fucked up, and then you told me to basically go fuck myself.
Yeah.
Just for me to understand, I am a man of logic.
Yeah.
I like to follow trail of action.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what happened. Can you refute what I'm saying? And he goes, no. I'm like, okay, so you still have all the leverage, clearly. My best course of action is to apply again, hoping you give it to me. And if you don't, that means I paid for 2 visas, lost all the plane money and the hotel because
HKID didn't sound like visa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I guess. So anyway, I go home furious, apply again on the same day. That was, again, we're 10 days out. Oh, and he did say that day, I will give it to you. Like, I can't guarantee legally to say I will give it to you, but he's like, we now are familiar with your case. You should get your new one right away. That's what he said.
Okay, all right.
I'm like, that sounds pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I got his first name and everything, and I go to my office and actually apply right away, and then I get silence. And then with 10 days out, and then 3, 4, 5 days out, and it's still processing, and it's still the same thing. I start sending emails. I'm getting nothing back. I'm getting some automated bullshit. And then I get an email. We're 3 days before the flight. And I get an email that says, please allow the consular to process your visa. Please realize that insisting on faster processing may result in denying your visa. So they're basically telling me to stop bothering them.
Wow.
And shut up them.
They actually emailed you saying that.
I have that email.
Wow.
And I respond with a really long, kind of angry email about my experience with this whole thing. And then they don't give me anything. At this point, I'm the day before the flight and I have no hope. I'm like, that's it. But also, like, I'm not going to cancel the flight and get stupid, like, 5% of the flight back. I might as well just keep it.
It's whatever, yeah.
And then they send an email asking for further proof. That's the day before the flight.
Ooh.
They ask for email. Oh, they actually asked for a general email that said, they asked for an email that says something like, convince us.
Yeah.
Why would
Why do let you go to
yeah,
Thailand?
the term I don't even remember like right now. The term is something like, oh yes, the term is give us background about yourself. It's such a general like,
yeah, who are you?
who are you?
Yeah,
That's exactly
yeah.
it. After giving them all the documents they needed, they basically the day before the flight, so they're like, who are you again? Can you convince me like that? And I just sent an email. At this point, I did have like a light bulb moment, and that moment was, I think it's all of this is happening because I submitted a blank passport because the passport is new.
So they're like, this guy's suspicious.
To them, I am suspicious. Like this Egyptian guy who lives in Hong Kong, who works in a pretty small startup, and it's like showed up and like bothered us, and he's also just short notice to leave or to go to Thai. Something. This is obviously I'm speculating, but from their point of view, I'm not giving them excuses. Fuck all of them.
Yeah.
They totally fucked me over.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking what is the rationale again. And at this point, I'm like, that background email, I'm like, I think I know what's going on. And I sent an email back saying, like, I actually have been to Thailand many times before. This is just a new passport because it's a new passport. And here's scans of all my 4 or 5 Thai visas that I had before. And they sent back immediately with an acceptance for the visa. And I'm like, fuck, that's what was missing. But then he could have told me that suspicion in the very first interaction.
Yeah, it would have been a suspicion.
It would have been, exactly, which it would have been legitimate. I wouldn't even be mad. He'd be like, have you been to Thailand before? Because then they can check the records. The very first time, even before they rejected me, they could have asked, like, have you been, like, because we can see this is a new passport or whatever. Have you been anywhere before? Because it does look suspicious. It looks like I'm just giving them a blank passport. And the first country I decided to go to, not my own, I decided to go to Thailand. Sure, it's weird.
Yeah.
But you can ask me. But instead of, no, they just decided to shove me around, take 2 visa fees from me, which I didn't get the refund for the first one at all, and give me so much stress that I got the visa almost 24 hours before the flight. And then, we made it.
You know what? I really hope one day that the Thai Consulate General has their annual dinner.
Yeah.
And they're looking for comics. I'll make you a deal, man. If they ever contact me, hey, we want to book a comedian, what's your quotation and everything, I will recommend you. I will recommend you for the gig.
I will happily do the gig. I will happily do the gig and give you all the money. Just for me to do the gig.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what you should do, whatever your fees are, add the 2 application fees to it.
Yes.
Like, that's a weird number to add. You're like, oh, these are my rates. I convert it from US dollar. It's a conversion kind of thing. Right? Do that.
Yeah.
Go do that gig, right? And if you see the same guy in charge of your document, like, don't pick on him. Don't pick on him.
No.
Yeah, don't get blacklisted, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, just go after your set, you kill and everything. Like, he's like, oh, you're really funny. Oh, yeah. You just walk him like, you know me?
Yeah.
Remember me?
Remember me?
Oh yeah. You know what I mean? And he'd just be like, I don't know you. I'm like, I know you. Boom.
He will remember me because of the name as well.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, but that'd be so. He'd be like, whoa,
it'll be so
this
funny.
is so crazy, right?
Man, it's so good to be back on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone. We obviously ran long, but we're very excited to come back to you guys. A couple of things. Do reach out with guest recommendations if you have any. We obviously know that Hong Kong has changed a lot over the last few months. A lot of people left. A lot of interesting people are staying, or even arriving new people. So do let us know which guests you would recommend for us, or even like put us in touch with people you think would be suitable for the podcast. Also, follow us on social media. Where do people find you, Vivek?
At Funny Vivek.
Nice.
Easy enough. What about you?
I am at the other Muhammad on Instagram. That's mostly my online activity. And come to a live show sometime.
Come to a live show. Check out this podcast weekly. You'll be hearing from us a lot.
Yep.
If there's any particular topics you would like to hear about, just send us a message on our Instagrams or whatever. We'll maybe respond.
Yep.
We'll do that.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week.